Welcome back to Math Video Tutorials, and thank you for tuning in. In this very short tutorial, I'm going to show you how to answer this type of questions. We have cos x is a negative over 5. Now, we know from the cast diagram that the cos is positive in this quadrant, the fourth one. That is C. Only the cos that is positive. In the first quadrant, all the three functions, the sine, cos, and tan, are positive, so we label it capital A. In the second quadrant, only the sine. And in the third quadrant, the tan is positive, meaning that the sine and the cos are negative in this quadrant. And we follow the positive direction for measuring the angles in trigonometry. That is the anti-clockwise. So my angle x is reflex, so it has to be between 180 and 360 degrees, or either in the third or fourth quadrant. Well, it can't be in the fourth quadrant because we just said that the function cos is positive here, so we need to eliminate this one. So it has to be the second and the third, and it can't be in the second quadrant because we've been told that the angle x is a reflex. So we only got left with the third quadrant. So our angle will be here. Something like this. So our angle we're measuring is all this. Okay, so we're not measuring the angle, we're just finding the value of the sine x. And the angle we're going to use is going to be this one. That is the angle x. It means the angle x is all this, but the value of the sine will be this one here, is the opposite to it. So let's draw the right angle triangle here. This is the angle x. So we need to find the adjacent. We've been given the adjacent because cos is adjacent divided by the hypotenuse. Now the hypotenuse is represented by the radius, this one here, and it is 5. So let's label it here. And because it is a radius, it doesn't have a sign, positive or negative. So it's going to be just 5 without any plus or minus. And therefore, you can see clearly, therefore, for the adjacent, this one has to be negative 4. So let's label it here, negative 4. And need to work out the opposite. Let's call it O for opposite. Now, for the opposite, using Pythagoras, it's going to be the square root of the hypotenuse, 5 squared, subtract the adjacent, which is negative 4, all squared. So therefore, if you do the calculation, it's going to be square root of 9. Square root of 9. Now at this stage, we know square root of 9 is either plus or minus 3. Now, which one to choose? You have to pick one because you only got one angle, so it has to be only one answer. Which one? Well, if you look at the diagram, your opposite length or side is on the negative part of the y-axis, so it has to be the negative 3. So we keep minus 3, we remove the positive, so let's do that. Negative 3. So for our sine x, it's going to be the opposite, minus 3. Let me as well label it here, negative 3. It's going to be negative 3 divided by the hypotenuse, which is 5. So that is the answer to sine x. Now for the tan, it will be straightforward because the tan we know is the opposite divided by the adjacent. So that's minus 3 over minus 4. And that will give us 3/4. And that's how you do this type of questions. And I hope this tutorial was helpful. Thank you for watching and take care.